Hello, welcome to another episode of Asian Mythology Retold Triggers. Today I'm going to be covering cinematics, i.e. the in-game movie mode and how to create them. I'm not going to go over the camera tracks because we've done that in previous videos. This is just going to be about the triggers you need to start a cinematic. So, to start off with, I've got a setup trigger here. It's just a few quality of life things to make my cinematic look professional. So what I've done here is I've turned the fog and the black map off, so the map is fully revealed. That means we get to see everything. I've changed the cinematic sky. You can see the sky above the walls here, and there's quite a large variety of skies that we can choose from. I've got pictures of all of these at AoM Heaven if you want to see what each one is. Camera cut is just sake of easiness for me, and then toggle obscure unit outlines. So what this does is if there's a big unit in front of something, such as a Titan, you might see that the units behind it will have an outline associated with their player, such as the Yeeb having the orange outline there. If I turn that effect off, that will mean the outline doesn't appear, so it just makes your cinematics look that bit more professional. So, to start off, we have our cinematic on, and we use the, funnily enough, cinematic mode on trigger to do this. So we toggle cinematic mode on rather than off. The letterbox are the black bars that appear on the top and bottom of the screen. If you click this view, you can see where they're actually going to go, so that will help line your shot up better. So we could have the black bars not present and have a full screen cinematic, or we could turn them on. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to have a fade screen. So with this, what we can do is fade to a colour or fade away from a colour. I'm going to have this minimal, so this screen's going to turn to black instantly. After that, I'm going to name my triggers properly so that we can follow them. So I'm going to have a timer 1 second. It's going to be a black screen. This means as we're in cinematic mode, we can use the overlay text effect. This is quite a nice effect. It gives you big text, which again you can colour and you can resize, and it's what's been used in cinematic modes in the campaign scenarios. So we'll start with something fairly basic there. So we can set the time, we can set the size, and we can set the colour. So let's leave that as default. I can do a camera cut. It's not going to make any difference because the screen is black, but still. Next, later. So I could have this go 3 seconds after, but as you can see, if I'm going to do this and then I want to make a change later on, I'm going to have to go through all of these and rejig the timings. So what I could do is have it as 3 seconds relative to number 1, but not active. So I will do the fire event, trigger activate, to activate that trigger. So then it's always going to be linked up in a nice chain, and if I want to make adjustments to the timings, I can do that very easily without having to do it for every single one. After this, we could have another fade screen, so we could have the cinematic fade screen off. Again, the duration is how long it takes, the delay is the delay, so how long before it starts, and colours I usually keep them the same again for professionalism. After that, we could have some camera trickery, so we could do a camera track. I've just put a few up there. So now we've got a camera track. Again, as we're copying, we need to remember to go back and activate these triggers. Now we're panning around the unit. What we could do is get the character to say something. So for this one, we use the chat character dialogue. This effect behaves differently if you're in cinematic mode than compared to if you are not in cinematic mode. So I'm going to be the speaker, and my message would just be a simple one. For the portrait, again, we copy that over from the icons list. we use the sound, we could have a sound here, but as soon as that sound ends, then the dialogue will stop playing. So I usually leave that blank and play sounds with the sound file name effect if I want to do that. And this was a delay here, so just put a big number in there so that your dialogue doesn't fade out instantly. We could then have another text, again relative to the cinematic. Nice thing about copying these is you can have the same character dialogue and just change the text. And again, remembering to link it. And then we've done a basic cinematic. We can turn it off. So let's give that a 4-second timer from there. Activate it, cine off, and just check my timing. So my track is going to run out. So in addition to cinematic mode off, I'm going to reset the black map so that you can't see everything. I'm then going to reset the black map for everyone. And normally you can do a camera cut. I'm just going to do a camera track, because when we've got a camera track playing, if you do a camera cut it won't work. So if you do another camera track, that will just override it. And there we go. Don't need to activate any trigger. We'll just do a camera track and then we're done from cinematic mode. So there you go, you can add so many more things into here. It's really quite simple. It's just a flowing chain of commands to make your movies. The higher skilled people will have lots of effects happening. So we'll have dialogues, they'll have sounds, lighting effects, characters moving, special effects, maybe even meteors falling from the sky. There's a lot that you can accomplish, and some people have already put out some really good cinematics for this. Now I've told you how you can create your own. I look forward to seeing what you can make, and we'll finish there, and I will see you again in the next video.